Hello and welcome back to Preston Marina's YouTube channel for another of our boat walk round videos. This time a Princess 33 motor cruiser. Now this boat, as you can see, is in our boatyard and she's been here for a few years, and sadly her owner passed away a few years ago, and she has lain a little bit unloved in that time, and the owner was just setting out on a bit of a refurbishment and refit before he passed away. So we have a boat here which is in need of recommissioning. I wouldn't describe it as a project boat, but some may, and that's eye of the beholder. But certainly she needs some work and TLC to get her back into commission. So we thought it'd be good to have a little closer look at this boat, Princess 33, because of course by pedigree and design, Princess 33 is a very reputable and high quality offshore motor cruiser. So definitely worth a closer look. And I will say that because the owner is no longer with us, I'm afraid there is information that we simply don't know and can't know about her. So some of the information, all the information is given in good faith, but we can't confirm every detail. But we will tell you what we know and what we think we know. So we'll start at the stern. The twin outdrives there, connected to the Volvo Penta diesels, 105 horsepower 6-cylinder Volvo diesels, I believe they are. We think the boat is from 1979. We think that she is certainly of that era, that's for sure, but we think 1979. And we also believe that Princess made two versions of this hull, and this is the version with the, as you can see there, just to the left as we look at it of those ladders. This is, you can see the keel, and this boat is, that's the difference between the two hulls. This version had the longer, deeper keel, so making a more of a semi-displacement boat, but more of a sea boat as a result. That keel there helping with the tracking in heavier and choppier waters. So we think this would be described more as a semi-displacement hull rather than a planing hull, which we believe was an alternative hull of this model at around the same time. So now the anti-fouling, the family of the current owner, well the deceased owner shall we say, the family have just done a quick brushing of anti-fouling on the visible side of the hull. I think they did it during the winter when the conditions weren't ideal, so fair enough. The other side, the port side, hasn't been anti-fouled, so we'll go around. But you know, looking at the hull, it looks nice and smooth. It doesn't look to be anything that it looks alarming in terms of the initial glance at the hull. Of course, I'm not a surveyor, so I can't tell you definitively, but this is what the hull looked like before the quick cosmetic coat of anti-fouling. So a few barnacles from when she was last in the water, but again, to my not trained professional eye, but been around boats all my life, doesn't look so bad down there. And the top sides look very good, all gel coat, not paint. So so far so pretty good. Let's go up on deck and have a look there. So standing on the foredeck now of the Princess 33, there is a, by the way, outside of our boat yard there is a machine making a noise, doing some tree pruning, so I hope you can still hear me over the background noise of that machine. But here we are on the foredeck of the Princess 33. Feels very solid underfoot everywhere I walk. All the original gel coat and non-slip surfaces look good. Dirty, yes, you'll definitely benefit from a good cleaning and brightening up session. The windows all do have a complete set of winter covers. I've left this one on the foredeck hatch just to show you. And they're relatively recent. They were part of what the owner was doing as part of his bit of a refurb. I've taken them off because with the window covers on, it's very dark below decks, but there is a set of window covers for the windows. Nice wide side decks with the safety rails and grab rails either side. Again, as we get further aft on the wheelhouse roof, grab rails all feel solid. The VHF aerial, a little mast there which might have been for a burgee or other instrumentation perhaps. And say these wide side decks, all rather nice. Now this PVC cover, again, although it's gone green over the last few winters being stood, this cover was new when the late owner was doing some refurbishments, and it's in good condition. It as I say, it's green, but it is in good condition. So I'd say this cover's about 5 years old and it's never been to sea, you know. It's just been sat where she is with this cover. Stern light there, these davits for a tender. It doesn't have a tender, but the davits are a useful feature, and the ladder and bathing platform just below. So well set up for cruising and leisure. So just walk forward again so you get a clue. Again, everything feels good and solid, and as you would expect from a prestige boat builder like Princess. This is a John Bennett design boat, I believe. So we'll walk along the port side. Again, nice and solid. The canopy there, again, all good and sound. All feels good. I'll completely journey all the way to the stern. There we go, there's the davits again. So it's all feeling good. So I think we can go below now and take a look at how she's looking below decks. And at the end of this video we will do an engine as well, so stand by. We'll go below decks now. So we're now in the cockpit of the Princess 33. So we're under that relatively young canopy, and it's all nice and dry in here, so good, lots of space. You could easily set up a picnic table and a few director's chairs and enjoy this as a nice socialising space. Let's have a little peek. You've got storage lockers either side, self-draining cockpit. Those are the drains. If you don't have the canopy up and you get some water in, it should self-drain away without worry. And then you've got these patio doors, these aluminium patio style doors. There must be a little catch or something, just here it is. So when the boat's closed up, that's how she looks, with these aluminium patio doors, which open, both leaves open out to give easy access into the wheelhouse. Below here are the engines, and I'll film the engines and hopefully get them started at the end of this video, but for now I'll just we'll keep looking at the boat from an accommodation point of view, but we'll look at the engines and hopefully run them up shortly. So here we are in the wheelhouse. So to starboard we've got this settee, which definitely can be used as a berth, a sea berth, and then on the port side we have the helm station, space behind it. And well, the instrumentation looks to have powered up. We've got a duet log and depth finder, obviously showing out because we're out of the water, but at least the displays work. I don't know if they work when they're in the water, but it's a good sign that the displays work. A good quality steering compass, a Navman GPS plotter which powers up, and then the obviously the controls are here. There's a VHF radio there which powers up. So far so generally pretty good. The steering feels stiff, and I don't want to force it. Again, this is a boat that's described as being out of commission, and so the steering is stiff. It's a hydraulic steering, but the whole boat needs, all its systems need checking and servicing as required before putting into use again, and the steering is no exception. There's the builder's plate, Marine Projects Plymouth. That's what they were called before they became Princess. Marine Projects is the company that originally built the Princess boats. So here we go, the wheelhouse, very spacious again, very comfortable, civilised space, nice and dry. The cabin lights are coming on. Here we go, these rather dated but still functional fluorescent lights. Okay, let's go below into the saloon and the galley area. As I say, the floor of this, underneath the floor, there's no carpet. There are some carpet tiles that have been used temporarily, but the wheelhouse does need a proper carpet. But it does mean we can have a quick peek underneath. There are the batteries, which were new approximately 2 years ago. So they were put in post the departure of the owner to sort of keep the systems functioning. Ahead of there is the hot water tank, the calorifier, which makes hot water from the engine. I think the remains of the old cockpit canopy are still there. So, but loads of storage down there as well. There is a cover that goes over that battery compartment, which is that white fiberglass moulding. But as I say, the batteries are quite young. So all of these floorboards do come up to get access below for maintenance and service and storage. But as I say, in my opinion, a new carpet would make a big difference there. And going below into the saloon, let's just do, before we climb down, a bit of an overall shot of the saloon and galley. So you've got this U-shaped dinette to port with its era 1980s upholstery design, but it's again all dry. There's a little bit of little wear and tear on this side, but really surprisingly good for a 1979 boat that hasn't had much love recently. So and this dinette, obviously for dining, there is a table stowed in the fore cabin, which we'll see in a minute. That table can fill into this section here, and this goes on top of that table, which makes a double berth. You get the idea, I hope. So that becomes a double berth. You got your TV station, and then stores and drawage all around. Plenty of that. So some manuals there and bits and pieces. So there'll be a cat. There we go. So some pilot books. TV. Over to starboard is the galley. Now this fridge is probably original and is old, so the fridge has seen better days. This cooker, Neptune 2000 from Plastimo, is not original. This is relatively young, and it looks at a glance to be okay. I don't know why there is this other uninstalled gas grill and hob. Whether there is a problem with the cooker or not, I don't know, but we found that this grill and hob is there as well. But there's the sink with its hot and cold running water from the calorifier. Again, we don't know if any of it works, but that's how it's supposed to be, and all part of the recommissioning. And then a little peek into the toilet, the head compartment, which very spacious. You can easily get in there, and there's plenty of room. Now, I do believe the owner was in the process of installing an electric sea toilet, and it is, although it's physically sitting there, it's not bolted down and it's certainly not connected. So at the moment, the boat does not have a connected sea toilet of any description, but that is, I believe, an electric. And you can see the bits and pieces that were presumably all intended to be part of the installation, which never got completed. There's a shower there, and this is a draining compartment. So this can certainly be configured to, let's say, evidence there of a very recent, looks like a diaphragm pump. That's a shower drain pump. So plenty of bits and pieces. There we go. So, I wonder if the light works. This will be a tall order, but there we go. The light even comes on, so just so you can see. So yeah, I should have had that on to start with. It looks a lot better with the light on. It's a bit dark in here with the frosted glass on a fairly dull winter's day. Anyway, the heads compartment, a work in progress, but fundamentally all really good. And then finally going forward into the fore cabin. At the moment, the fore cabin is being used as a storage room for the bits and pieces, and the mattresses for the V berth have all got the covers off. I think, to be honest with you, so they were in a sorry state. So I would think that part of this refurbishment was going to be new upholstery here in the fore cabin. But you know, it's winter now. It's been sitting here in this position for some years, and it does not feel wet in here. Maybe it's had some condensation over the winters, but it certainly does not feel wet. Oh, there we go. Lights are coming on. So it feels, you know, really quite good for a neglected boat in the winter. And all that little hanging locker there. That's the table that goes into the dinette area and forms the double berth. So this would be a V berth. So two, either single berth, if you call it a V berth, a single berth, which there's probably an infill. You can see the triangular cushion. There'll be an infill cushion to make that another very big double berth. And then we've got all sorts of bits and pieces, probably old electronics that just haven't been thrown away from over the years. That's an AIS radar. We don't know its origins or whether it works, but with a bit of potluck, some or all might work, or none of them might work. But that's a life raft up there, which will be well out of service, but can very likely, it's a 4-person life raft, it's very likely that that could be serviced and get back into commission. Another locker there. So yeah, so we'll just walk back in through the saloon, give you an overview. So that's the accommodation of this Princess 33, and say, yeah, the overall feeling is nice. It's not wet, it's not, doesn't feel damp and cold, it doesn't smell. The headlinings, you can see, are often a point of contention on all the boats. There is some moisture, which is condensation, it's really nothing more than that. This is February, but again, it looks like the headlinings are not saggy too bad at all. They're quite clean, and the wood trim around them looks nice. I wonder if this light works. No. Okay, well, we've had a good run on turning lights on successfully so far, but okay, the light bulbs in the galley aren't working, fair enough. But yeah, say generally the wood trim's okay. The carpet in the saloon is, well, a good hoover and it would look a lot better, to be honest with you. You know, otherwise it's okay for now. So there we are. So finally, we'll have a look at the engines, and then to finish it off, we will hopefully run the engines. So I'll just, for the magic of editing, open the engine bay. So here they are, the two Volvo Penta 6-cylinder diesels. I think they are, though they were rated at 105 horsepower each. But as I say, we don't know for sure because we're not able to speak with the former owner, of course. You know, Volvo Penta, and we think when these boats were built, this was the larger engine option. We looked online and you can still see some sales literature for this model of boat, and these were the larger engines coupled with the stern drives, and the semi-displacement hull sort of aimed more at coastal and offshore cruising as opposed to inland or river cruising, which many of these boats were popular for as well. So these are the we think the larger engine. This starboard engine, as you'll see hopefully in a few moments, they both run well, they both start and run. Is something to be investigated with the raw water cooling of this starboard engine. It's not just circulating raw water. We've done a little bit of quick investigation, but we aren't marine engineers. We think the impeller is okay. We've replaced a bit of pipe that was looking a bit suspect, but still it needs closer investigation. But like we said before, the boat is out of commission. Everything needs thoroughly investigating and servicing before going to sea, which is only prudent, of course, to say. So those are the Volvo engines. So finally, with a bit of luck and a bit of editing magic and a colleague, we'll try and get them running. Okay, well, I've decided to try and have a go myself. We're going to try and start these Volvo Penta diesels on this Princess 33. So here is the port engine. So we may need to help it with some fuel and a bit of preheat, which I think you press the key for a little while and that helps with the preheat. So I'll just do that for a few seconds. Let's see how we do. Here it comes. There we go, that's the port engine started. Around the port engine as she's running. A little bit of a little rev counter responding nicely. Let's see if we can get the starboard engine going now. Not easy to do all the controls whilst holding a GoPro, but let's see how we do. It's turning over nicely. I don't think I preheated it enough. I'll just give it a bit of throttle as well. A bit more preheat I think on this one. So turn the key. So hopefully that's helped with the preheat. The starter motor seems healthier on the starboard one, but turning over nicely. Bit more heat. Oh, I know what it is. The engine stop is out. There we go. The engine stop was pulled out. Basic mistake, but there we go. There we go. Straight away. So again, rev counter working. Idling. So that's both engines now working. Now the starboard one is not circulating water very well. So we'll have a quick look now at the stern drives, but then I'm going to shut them off. But both engines now idling nicely. Quick look outside. So we're now at the stern drive legs, both engines running, a very, very little amount of exhaust smoke, considering these are fairly big diesels that haven't been run properly for a long time. You can see that port engine's cooling very well. There's only a drip coming out of the starboard engine, so it should look like that. So that's running really well. Not the case with the starboard engine. So I am going to go and shut them down now, but for a quick video, as I say, what I am impressed with, they both sound absolutely beautiful, and there is very, very little smoke, if any, coming out through the legs. So as I say, that cooling needs addressing, but that will be quite possible to do, and a good service, and we could be nearly there with these. Anyway, I hope that's been helpful. Thank you.